Hello, everyone. I thought it'd be kind of fun to do something a little different today, and I wanted to create a new playlist on tools that I use as a professor. So, for the first one, I wanted to look at specifically the Plaud Note Pin. And this is something that I use every day in my classes when I'm doing my lectures. Before we begin, I do want to point out that I'm not sponsored or affiliated with them or anything like that. But let me tell you about this device and why I chose to specifically use this when I'm doing my teaching. Well, the reason is first, I wanted to have some way that I could record my lectures. Now, our lecture halls actually have recording software. I think it's called Panopto or something like that. But not every room will have that capability. And I actually teach in a variety of locations across campus because I do large mass lectures a lot of times with upwards of 350 students. So some rooms will have the newer technology, some won't. So I wanted a way that I could reliably record anything that I do in class for students who miss, but also to give students extra resources in order to help them succeed in my class. And I chose the Note Pen specifically because of the way that it works for the way I teach. So there is the Note, which looks like a little key card or a credit card, and a lot of people will put it on the back of their phone. Or a lot of people online, if you look it up, why would I need something like this when I could just record on my iPhone or my Pixel or whatever you have? But the problem is that I don't want to be carrying around my cell phone while I'm teaching a class. What I would do is I walk around. I point at the board, whether it be a whiteboard or a projector, whatever it is, I walk around. When I have smaller classes, I walk around even more. I don't want to be stuck behind the podium or the lectern. So I chose specifically, though, the Note Pen because I can use it like a watch, right? It has a little strap like this, or it also has like a necklace, things like that. So I can wear it on me and not have to really think about it while I'm recording. Then let's talk about what do I actually do. Well, right before class begins, right about the minute it's starting, I will start the recording. Now I can do this either on my phone or I can actually press and hold on the actual device and then it'll vibrate to let me know that it's started recording. A lot of times I choose the phone just to be extra sure because I'm paranoid that maybe it was actually recording on accident and I turned it off. So I like to do the phone because then I have that visual confirmation that I'm actually recording. Now, once I actually record the lecture, there's a lot that I do with these notes. So first thing is that, and I'll show you this in a second, but basically what I do is I then use the AI system to listen to the voice of my lecture and it will then transcribe it. I also will get a summary and then I can get a mind map. And I just think it's really cool because this will help students in different situations. For example, if students want to follow along with like slides or notes or something like that, they can actually use the voice recording and they could follow like they're on a lecture. I do post the written notes. So they have like the slides, the written notes, or anything that I did in class, and they could listen along. Or if they prefer, they could use the transcription of the class and they could search for particular moments, things like that. For example, they could kind of bypass entire sections where I might do an aside about why this would be useful in the real world, something like that, but doesn't directly equate to how do you solve some problem or something like that. The other thing, though, that I tell my students is that they could use these to help them plan their studying and create study guides, right? Because if you have the transcripts from every single class that we do, then if we have an upcoming exam or you just want to be preparing and studying stuff like that, you could take the notes from the class, the slides from class, and also the actual things I've said in class. You could put them into some sort of AI system, for example, ChatGPT or Gemini, and then from there, it could create a study plan. It could talk about the main points we talked about. It could map out everything. It could create practice problems. And these are all resources that I want my students to have to try to keep up with this modern era of AI, right? Instead of fighting against it, what I want to do is I want to harness that to help students actually learn the material, because that should matter more than just getting a good grade in the class. So now let me actually show you how we use the Plaud Note Pen. So the first things first, whenever you pull it up, you can see here that I have a ton of recordings. Generally, they're about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes because that's the time for our classes. Now, this device says that it does up to 30 continuous hours. I've never tested that myself because I generally teach 3 classes in a given day, an hour and 15 minutes each. And I usually, what I'll do is, like, for example, last semester, I had 3 classes on Monday, Wednesday, and then I had another class on a different campus for our university on Tuesday, Thursday. So what I would do is I would record my 3 classes, and then I would record the fourth class on the other campus, and then I would charge it at night. So I've never really tested its full capability of whether it can go for 30 straight hours like they claim. But so far I've had no issues, and there have been times I forget to charge it and it works fine the next day. When you actually start up Plaud, what you first need to do is sync it up with your device. Now, if it's not synced up, it really doesn't cause any problems because you can just press and hold on the device and it will record. It just then will have to transfer that data whenever it does sync up next time. And then so you can press here and you can see that it'll find the device, or if it's already synced up, it'll just show how much power there is, things like that. Now you can go to the bottom here and you can see that there's two options if you hit this little plus. You've got record and you've got import audio. So record is just exactly what I was talking about earlier. I hit that button, it'll say recording, and it'll show a little voice bar so you can see what it's recording. And then I just put my phone, I turn my screen off, I put the phone down, and then I continue with my lecture. The import audio is a feature I actually have used once or twice. And this is because there was once or twice where I had my Plaud and I brought it into my office to charge before class because I had forgotten to do it, and I left it in my office. But because I didn't want my students to not have the recording, what I did is I recorded audio on my phone. And then I uploaded that audio to the Plaud website. And from there, I was able to import it and do all the normal stuff that I could. Once your audio is recorded, then you can go here and you can see that there are a few options. The first thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to transcribe it. Now, this does take a little while because what it's going to do is it's going to connect to an AI system, which you can pick the one that works best for you. And also you can pick sort of what sort of audio is this? Is it from a meeting? Is it from a lecture? Things like that. And you can actually do all sorts of settings to make it more personalized to what you want to have as your output. So for me, I have a system set up specifically for university lectures. Once it's generated this, you're going to see different tabs. So the first one I go to is Note. This is what allows me to change the file name. And generally what I'll do is I will put the class designation code and the date, because once I'm done with these, I upload them to Canvas for my students for the day. So if a student misses a day, they always know exactly where those files are, and also with my in-class notes. Once I have my name set, you can see that there's a couple different things here. There's audio, transcript, and then there's the summary, which they changed the wording of recently, and it's note now, but it used to be summary. And then there's mind map. So what I do is I will actually go into at the top here, and I'll click on the upload button. And first thing I always do it in a specific order so that I can make sure all my files are named properly, because I do change the file names before I upload them. And the first thing I do is transcript. And if you look at this, you have a couple different ways that you can upload this. You can upload it as a text file, an SRT, a docx file, or a PDF. And you also have the option to include timestamps or not. Then after that, I do the summary, which again has text, SRT, docx, or PDF. I then upload the mind map, and I think this one is mostly just because it's kind of fun. I don't know how much the students actually get out of this. I just think it's a neat feature, so I upload it because I have it. And I do it in this order also because these are the smaller files. They will go quicker. And then the mind map can be saved as either a JPEG or a Markdown file. The last thing that I upload is my audio. And this has two options, MP3 or .wav file. I generally just do MP3. This one does take the longest. So what I'll do with these is I will upload them into my Google Drive. And then from there, I can grab the files, make sure they're named properly, put them into Canvas. Now, the nice thing about this too, though, is that I also have all these files that I can use for my own purposes as well, right? I have a Google Drive full of these files about my classes for whenever I'm working on updating a class, seeing things I've told students, anything like that. And then once I've gotten them put on Canvas, so I don't do this step until I've actually done that, I will go to the top right here, and then I will do move to folder, and I have a prior classes folder that I will use to know that this file is no longer one that I need to do anything with. So that's all I really kind of wanted to show you. Now, again, I talked about how can students use this. Well, this is something really useful because if students miss classes, and like I said, I have classes upwards of 350 students. I get a lot of emails about I have to miss class today. A lot of it's about for attendance, but also for things like what did we cover in class today? They don't want to get behind, things like that. Well, now I have a way that I can direct them to exactly what we did in class. Or if all else fails, if they just want to get the quick rundown, they can look at the summary. It's also useful because as we come upon test time, this could be used for creating study guides, practice problems, all sorts of things like that. So my view is any resource that helps the students, I think would be useful. Now, of course, they don't have to use these tools. They could do it just like any old school college lecture, and that's perfectly fine as well. But for students who do want to do this, I want to have these capabilities available. Now, one thing I will point out about the Plaud is that if you were to get one, and we're using it in your class, there is a free version. I think you get like 300 transcription minutes a month with the free account. You could take your audio somewhere else and do it. For example, the audio, things like that, you could download it. You could put it in something like Gemini or ChatGPT, and you could have it do things like that for you. I personally just pay for the account so that I have unlimited transcription minutes. And I think there also is a way that you can buy blocks of minutes, but I've never done that myself because I record so much in a given week and it's so consistent. For me, it's just worth it to get the account. Now, one thing I do have a slight issue with is the way that they do it is that you have to pay for the entire year. I do wish that they would break it up into monthly payments just to, defer the cost a little bit so it's not such a big upfront cost at the beginning of the year when I'm setting it up. But also just because sometimes there's times where I might not need it as much. For example, in the summer, I might be teaching a single summer class where I could be fine using the free account, or other times where I might just not need it for some reason or another. And that's really it for this. I just thought it was a really interesting tool. I've been using it a lot. I've really liked it. It's generally been great. There are probably other tools like it that do just as well, but this is the one that I chose, and I think it's super cool. Now, as I mentioned, this is not sponsored. I'm not an affiliate, but I will try to see if there's some way that I can put a link in the description if anyone is interested in getting one for their class or themselves or checking it out. But again, this isn't really about selling something. This is more about just showing you guys the cool tools as we kind of, keep up with modern times with AI and things like that. So I hope this was useful, and I plan to do more of these things like using Gradescope for my mass lectures and other tools like that, which do make my job as a professor and a coordinator for a class of over 1,100 students a lot simpler. Thank you for watching. To continue learning, click the linked video here for the next lesson. If there's a topic you'd like me to cover, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.